All right, so um, in the Facebook group, I asked about, what's hard about repairing yourself after the narcissist, and Erin left a good comment, and she said, "Believing you are worth it." Um, and okay, so yeah, because like I say, one of mine had me convinced one time that I was a bad person and I needed a lot of help and I needed a lot of inner work and I needed to really change myself because I was a horrible person and I was so awful and I just didn't know how awful I was until he helped me see the light and see how bad I was. And he did that thing that a lot of them do, where he pretended that he was kind of surprised by that, to hear that, and that he was going to do me a favor and help me out and teach me about myself so that I could, start doing better. So the problem with that is they do that so that you can always be coming to them for help, always be coming to them for your issues, because that puts them in their mind. It doesn't really deep down, you're still in control, but in their mind it puts them in a higher and higher position because they, you need them, and they once they convince you that once they have you convinced that you're finally seeing how you're such an awful person and how you've been so bad and you need all this work and done on you and you need all these changes made in you and all this other shit, and you need to just transform into this totally different person because you've just been such an asshole and such a worthless bitch for so long and you just didn't know it, you just didn't see it, and they're here to help you figure it all out. That's just to keep you on a leash so that you'll keep coming back, because as long as they have you coming to them for help, they've got the upper hand because they can program you with anything they want and they can implant whatever thought process or whatever kind of mentality they want to implant in you. They can do it, and they do it really well, and it sticks for a long, long time because they're very good at what they do, because they bury themselves in your psyche by using guilt and things like that to have you hooked. And especially if you're the helper type of person, or if you're the type of person who wants to, is especially kind of, preoccupied with doing good or trying to be good, or, trying to help people or what have you, and you have like that kind heart, they eat that up because they thrive on that, because they're just gonna, that's their supply, like they just live on it. And they use that to make you feel bad every time they need you to come back down to earth, because you start getting successful, or you start feeling good about yourself, or you start doing better personally, or what have you. As soon as they see you like leveling up and starting to really do better, they don't like that, because you start to separate from them because you see that you don't really need them. So they have to have you convinced that you're going to need them, to help you through your process of your transformation while you're in your little cocoon that you didn't even realize you had to do to start with. You were fine before you met the son of a bitch. You were fine. Everybody was fine before they met the narcissist. They have to create a whole fake-ass world where you think that everything is wrong with you so that, you'll be easier to control. It's the same way the government does the same shit. They tell us all the time such and such is wrong. Oh, this is wrong, that's wrong, we're having this problem, we're having that problem. And it's to keep us in fear so that we'll do as we're told. It's the same shit. And it's the same mentality. And it's there for the same reason, to be in control of you. Because if you start thinking for yourself, that's going to be a problem. So, because they can't do what they want to do if you start wising up. So, you are definitely worth it. You have been worth it. You're worth it now, and you're gonna be worth it later until you bite the dust and go back to source at the end. You've been a whole person this entire time. You've been learning, and you've been morphing and transforming and changing and growing and expanding, but you've been whole the entire time. You've been a whole person, and you've always been fucking worth it. And the reason you've been worth it, you can tell you've been worth it because you keep drawing people in who are thriving off of you being worth it. You've been worth the trouble to them. If that helps. You've been worth it to, I'm not trying to downplay it. I just mean, you're definitely worth it. Of course you are. because the narcissist picks out people who have a lot of potential, or who are doing really well or could do really well, and they pick people who are, high quality people, as it were, and they go after that. Because they have, like, they're ambitious, so they go after people that everybody else would want. They don't pick somebody who, is on the bottom, if you will, for lack of a better way to put it. They pick what's top notch. So, if nothing else, go by that. So you're definitely desirable. You're definitely worth having. You're definitely worthy of all kinds of love. But most of all, as I like to say, you deserve your own love before all else. So once you start to appreciate yourself, and people aren't clear with the self-love thing. They like to, all these people who think they're enlightened or whatever will say, oh yeah, well, you need to start loving yourself. Yeah, you need to work on that. Okay, how? And nobody wants to fucking go into detail about this. So I have to do it. Which is fine, I don't mind it, but it's like all these people that like run around, really acting like they've got answers. But really they don't. They just say shit. They just repeat shit they've seen in books or online or whatever. And it's like, why can't you elaborate? So for the self-love thing, I think it helps. I've done this myself, and it worked for me, which is why I suggest it. But I think it helps if you start small and you just start with stuff like doing good things for yourself, learning about reading self-help books or whatever, or watching videos on YouTube or whatever it is about self-exploration and learning about yourself and learning about your own psychology, to understand yourself better. And then if you understand yourself better and why you do the shit you do, good or bad, you can practice showing compassion to that part of yourself that does that. Instead of being judgmental to that part of yourself, you show compassion to that part of yourself, and you practice that. The same way you showed compassion, you would show compassion to somebody else that's like, let's say, because I've seen your posts and stuff. I've interacted with you enough to know what you're like, and you're definitely a good person. You're definitely wholesome. You definitely have a good personality, and you definitely have good values and good, motives. And there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you, period. But let's say, I know for a fact that, like, for example, if you were out on the street walking around, like shopping or something, and you saw a homeless person or somebody who was crying or somebody who was hurt, you would be quick. You'd be ready to help them. I know you as an individual, you would. Because I've seen you enough, and the people that I haven't seen out there, who resonate with this, there's plenty of y'all who would be amazing at helping somebody you've never seen before, because you're kind. So with y'all being, with so many of people watching this video who have that kind of personality, who would be willing to help people or what have you, or help animals or whatever, how are you? Of course you're worth it. Of course you're worth it. You've got all those good qualities. You're beyond worth it. But because we've been so well trained to not appreciate ourselves, it's making us like start from scratch with the self-appreciation shit and the self-love shit. So I would say start out little. If you need to train yourself to start believing that you're worth it, start out little and be kind to yourself in small ways like that. Read books about self-help so you can learn about yourself. Do nice things for yourself throughout the day. When you take a day off, if you can, take as much time to yourself to really just like screw around and not do much of anything, and let your brain just like unplug from all the problem solving and shit like that, and just go easy on yourself. You want to take a 2-hour bubble bath? Do it. Or whatever it is. Go for a walk. Listen to some uplifting music, uplifting videos about, whatever you're curious about. Watch a documentary about something you're interested in and learn more about that topic. And that will give you confidence in your own knowledge and things like that. Anything you want to do that would help you feel uplifted or help you feel good about yourself. And it doesn't matter if it's silly. It doesn't matter what you think of it at first or whatever. Just do it and let yourself experience that feeling of bliss, joy, contentment, calm, quietude or whatever it is that you're needing, just let yourself have it. Just let yourself have it, and do it, and just see how you feel afterwards, and see if you feel fulfilled and satisfied and content. And that can be a good start to believing you're worth it, because you've done something small for yourself and you feel pretty good afterwards. And that's to me, that's a good place to start, because that's how I did it. I had to do baby steps with the self-love shit, because I was rock bottom, fucking rock bottom, and I mean, just bad. And I had to start little. That's how I did it. Only other people will tell you different ways, but for me, that's what works. So that's why I talk about that. But you are absolutely worth it. And the problem with women is that once we start feeling good about ourselves, the dating gets real slim. And that's just it. I hate to say this because it's real limiting, but that's just part of it. That's just part of it. And you don't have to, once you start liking yourself and appreciating yourself, you don't have to worry so much about what somebody else is doing. You don't have to worry so much about having a certain kind of companionship, because you're going to have so much fulfillment with yourself that you won't feel like you're lacking so much, and you won't be looking for it so much in other people. It doesn't mean that if you love yourself you won't have any friends. You know, you will. It's just that you won't be coming from a place of need. You won't be operating from a place of need. So you won't have friends or boyfriends because you need the attention or something like that. It'll just be you have them because they vibe, and then when they don't vibe anymore, you quit talking, and that's it. And you just leave it like that. You keep it simple like that, and you don't attach guilt to it or necessity or anything like that, and just let yourself just be you, and you can build on that, and just let things flow naturally as they will. And you can definitely see, you will definitely understand that you are worth it. You absolutely. There could be a part of the narcissist that wanted you sincerely, you know, for your good qualities that would have been obvious to anybody who knows you, but the narcissist, whether they have any kind of good intentions under there or not, we may never know, but their bad intentions smother that. So it's like, you know, but I think some of them probably do want to genuinely love. It's just they don't know how, so they just act a fool. I don't think that all of them are exactly the same. I don't think that all of them are just hardcore hateful. Some of them know that they have problems and still try anyway, and you may run into some of that too. So all of them aren't necessarily just the devil. You know, some of them have some parts of them that do want to try to love. They're too screwed up to know what to do, and they screw it up. But regardless, you know, you are absolutely worth it. And just like I was telling Caitlin in the other video, you are a part of the universe. You are a part of Source that goes on forever. You're infinite. You're absolutely infinite. Like the stars out there, you know, like the vastness of space, just like, you know, swimming around the ocean. It's like you never get to the end of it. It's just, you go on forever. Once you kick the bucket and go to the other side, you're still gonna exist. You're just gonna exist in your pure form. But you go on forever, and even though that's a big concept, and like intellectually we know that, but to sit there and really ponder on that is different. And to really ponder on it and let it sink into your fibers, let that thought sink into your fibers, and really take it on as part of you, you know, like part of your truth or whatever. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it takes a long time. What I like to do to remind myself of shit like that is I listen to the Hertz Tones on YouTube. Like, I'll play some of that. And one of my favorites is 528. You can listen to whichever one feels good to you, because there's millions of them out there. And whatever one just feels good, just go with that. You let your brain will tell you which one it wants to hear. You just listen to them until you find one that feels good. But 528 is my favorite. And 111 is good as well. But those... And there's 9999 and shit like that. There's all kinds of Hertz tones. There's every number you can imagine. It's out there. 432 is good, but But you can, like I say, you can do what I do and just sit there and listen to some 528 for like 10 minutes and just lay in bed and just chill and listen to it and just let it permeate your body and let yourself feel how you're connected to everything in the universe and everything that's alive, and you're connected to the animals, and you're connected to babies you see on the street, you know, walking by. You're connected to old people you smile at the grocery store. You're connected to all these people. You're connected to the angry person, the angry driver, you know, yeah. But you don't have to get swept away in it. There's a way to be connected without losing yourself in that person. You know what I mean? So you don't have to doubt that you're worth anything. You don't have to doubt your value when you know that you have your value on your own, and that person has their value on their own, and y'all are connected, but you're not stuck. There's a difference. You see what I mean? I should probably do a whole video just on that, because that's actually a really good topic. Y'all prompt me for the best topics, for real. But you can remind yourself that you are connected to the people around you, and you can see, you know, that y'all are all part of the universe, and you're all extensions of the source. So you all have that in common, like a web. But you're not stuck with each other. You're not stuck with each other's bullshit. They're like let's say the angry driver, for example. I used to let angry drivers piss me off real bad, because I don't like it when children are in cars around us and that one person is driving like they're trying to kill all of us. Because a lot of these people have kids in the back seat, and it makes me angry. And I want to jerk that person out of the car and beat them up. But I can't do that because well, first of all, I don't want to go to jail. But I mean, why? I mean, what for? They're not going to learn. You know what I'm saying? Number one, I'm not going to jail. 2, they're not going to learn from it. They're just going to get more pissed off. 3, they're dealing with something in their life that they are allowing to trickle into other shit that they do. That's their problem. And it has nothing to do with me. And it's not really my problem. It's my problem for 5 seconds while we're interacting on the road together, but after that, it's no longer my problem. They speed down the road, they're 2 miles ahead of me, now it's over with. We're not even going to the same place. So we're connected, but not that much. And we're not stuck with each other. And you know, and you can extend that to anything, even places where you feel like you're stuck. People you live with that are pissing you off. You live together and you're connected, but you're not stuck with each other. You know, y'all are souls that are just, you're there in each other's presence, and you're there in each other's energy fields, and you're there in each other's psyches and what have you. But you know, it's not like this unbreakable bond where you could never, you know, get away or have time where you're not talking to that person, whatever. There's always going to be a separation, and so it means that you both would have your own value, and you would be of equal value. It's just you both have your own lessons and shit that you have to learn, and you got to do it in whatever way that requires, and that's it. But there is no question or doubt or anything like that of you being worthwhile, you being worth it, or of any kind of value. That's already been decided. Your value and how special you are and how important you are, that decision's already been made. Because you've already been created and you're already here. So that decision was already made already. You have nothing to do with it. And you sure can't change it. And somebody else sure as hell can't change it. So just, you can, if it helps to see it that way, imagine it that way. You know, because like, there's a million ways you could look at it. I could sit here all day and go on about it because it's a really good topic that you brought up. But you are absolutely worthwhile, and just, you know, keep that stuff in mind. Whatever I mentioned, if any of it, you know, speaks to you or makes sense to you, remind yourself of that shit. But yeah, that's it. You go on forever, and you don't have any limits, and you're connected to other people, but you're not stuck with any of them, and you're not stuck with what I mean by that is you're not stuck with their problems, you're not stuck with their opinions, and by extension, you know, what I mean is you're not stuck with their opinions of you. You're not stuck with that. That's what they think. So what? And you know what I mean? And there's people that don't know you who see you at the grocery store or whatever, and they don't like your outfit. Oh, look at that bitch. And they may not ever say anything, but they'll have that thought. Do you know that some of a bitch is going to go on with their life and live like they never saw you? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've looked at people and thought, oh my God, you know. And it doesn't matter because they went on living their life. It had no impact on their life whatsoever. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. I can't change that person's value just because I disapprove of their fucking outfit or whatever. Yeah, or whatever it was. It has nothing to do with them. It doesn't matter. Both of us went our separate ways and went on living our life like it never happened. So nobody can dictate to you how important you are. You made that decision before you got to this planet, or Source made that decision. You / Source, energy, what have you, made that choice already. So your value is the same as what you've come from. Just like the mother having a baby, the baby's value is the same as the mother's. Because it's an extension. They're of the same essence. So why wouldn't they be the same importance? You see what I mean? So, hopefully some of that makes sense. Use whatever you need to use of that. And, but I mean, that's, I'm just talking, I don't script any of this shit. I'm just, going intuitively, but, yeah, you go on forever. So nobody can tell you really anything. And they do too. So it's like y'all can't really tell each other anything. So they can't, y'all's opinions of each other, whatever it is, it's whatever. I mean, la-di-da. Like, but anyway, I'm not pulling in anything else. That might be all I could channel for that. But yeah, yeah. I hope that cleared that up. So I hope I cleared up some of it, put some of it in perspective for you. But yeah, you're definitely worth it. You're worth it. Period. There is no arguing with that. That's not open for debate. Okay. But anyway, yeah, that was good. So you got me on a good tangent there. That was a good one. So y'all's activity in this group is fantastic. I'm really glad to see it. Because such great topics come up. But anyway, so I hope that was helpful, and I hope that gave you some good ideas and some good viewpoints and stuff to use, to just remind yourself. And you remind yourself as often as you need to. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. No, there's no rules here on what's appropriate or what's normal or what have you. You remind yourself as much as you need to. And that's it. So thanks for the comment, and thanks for sticking with me, and thanks for tuning in. So I'll see y'all around.